Hello and welcome back, my incredible AP Insight family. Abby Phillip here. The concept of collateral damage from guilt by association hits hard in the worlds of politics, entertainment, and celebrity culture. It's a brutal reality. One person's scandal can torch reputations, careers, and relationships tied to them, even when those connections are distant, old, or indirect. We've seen this play out repeatedly, and the latest example unfolding in Hollywood right now drives the point home with fresh urgency. Let's start with Donald Trump because his path into the national spotlight began long before any Oval Office run. Back in the mid-2000s, he was riding high as the star of The Apprentice. The show turned him into a household name, a symbol of business savvy and tough decision bravado. Networks loved him, audiences tuned in. He was untouchable in pop culture until the political storms hit. Fast forward to early 2021. After the events of January 6th at the U.S. Capitol, the Screen Actors Guild American Federation of Television and Radio Artists, SAG-AFTRA, took action. The union's board reviewed the situation and determined there was probable cause that Trump's conduct had violated their membership standards, specifically around actions that endangered journalists, many of whom are Guild members. They moved toward a disciplinary process that could have ended in expulsion. Trump didn't wait for the hammer to fall. He fired off a resignation letter that pulled no punches. In it, he dismissed the whole affair with those two blunt words, "Who cares?" He pointed out that the union had never done much for him anyway, threw in a brag about his cameos in films like Home Alone 2 and Zoolander, and walked away. The Guild acknowledged the resignation curtly. "Thank you." Just like that, one chapter closed. But ask yourself, did anyone really believe that sting wouldn't linger? Hollywood has long memories when it comes to controversy. Trump's star power in entertainment circles evaporated almost overnight after that tape from Access Hollywood surfaced years earlier, the one where he boasted about grabbing women without consent. Co-host Billy Bush was right there in the conversation. After the recording leaked in 2016, Bush's career took a massive hit. He vanished from major network gigs for years. Why? Because proximity alone painted a target on him. Guilt by association doesn't require proof of wrongdoing, just the appearance of being too close to the fire. The same dynamic crushed others. Take Mia Farrow. After working with Woody Allen for over a decade, allegations of abuse surfaced involving Allen and one of Farrow's children. Farrow cut ties completely. She later said something along the lines of, if she couldn't trust him after all those years, how could she ever risk trusting anyone else in a similar position? The fallout reshaped her public stance and career choices. Then there's Robert Kardashian, pulled into the national glare during the O.J. Simpson trial in the 1990s. As part of Simpson's high-profile defense team, one of the most star-studded legal lineups in American history, Kardashian became a household name. But the case divided families and ignited public fury. His ex-wife, Kris Jenner, had been close friends with Nicole Brown Simpson. The blood evidence debates, the verdict, the endless media scrutiny, it all created rifts and resentment that lasted for years. Would Simpson have stood by Kardashian through something similar? Probably not, as some observers noted at the time. Even smaller-scale conflicts show how quickly things turn toxic. Selma Blair joined Charlie Sheen on anger management after his explosive exit from 2.5 Men. She played his therapist and romantic interest on the show, but reports emerged that Blair had raised concerns about Sheen's on-set behavior and reliability. Not long after, she was let go. The message was clear: complain about the big name, and the industry pushes back hard. Collateral damage doesn't discriminate by star power. Now pivot to the breaking developments shaking Hollywood today. Casey Wasserman, the powerful founder of the Wasserman Agency, a firm that reps major musicians, athletes, and entertainers, has announced he's putting the company up for sale. This isn't a quiet retirement. It's a direct response to mounting pressure after his name surfaced in recently unsealed Justice Department documents related to Jeffrey Epstein. Records show Wasserman exchanged a series of emails with Ghislaine Maxwell back in 2003. These messages, now public, include flirtatious exchanges. In one, Wasserman asked what he'd have to do to see Maxwell in a tight leather outfit. In another, from April 2003, he wrote about missing her and suggested booking a massage during a trip to New York. Maxwell replied playfully about rubbing and certain spots that drive a man wild, even offering to practice them on him. She mentioned being in Brazil and asked if he'd ever been. He responded he'd never gone, but invited her to take him. Maxwell was later convicted for her role in conspiring with Epstein to sexually abuse minors over a decade spanning the 1990s and early 2000s. Wasserman has stated his contact was limited. A humanitarian trip in 2002 as part of a Clinton Foundation delegation where he flew on Epstein's plane, plus those regrettable emails from over 2 decades ago. He insists he had no personal or business relationship with Epstein and deeply regrets any association. Still, the revelations triggered a swift backlash. Artists began cutting ties. Chappelle Roan publicly announced her departure, stating she holds her teams to the highest standards and won't ask anyone to defend or ignore actions that clash with core values. Others followed, names like Best Coast, Bethany Cosentino, Wise Blood, Chelsea Cutler, Water From Your Eyes, Orville Peck, and Beach Bunny severed connections. The exodus grew intense enough that Wasserman, in a memo to his roughly 4,000 employees, acknowledged the pain caused to victims of Epstein and Maxwell is unimaginable. He apologized for the discomfort his past actions had brought to staff, clients, and partners. He called his people the best in the business and said clients deserve top-tier representation without distraction. That's why, he explained, he's stepping aside by initiating the sale process, already underway. In the meantime, Executive Mike Watts is handling day-to-day operations. Wasserman plans to focus fully on his role overseeing the 2028 Los Angeles Olympic Games, aiming to deliver an event worthy of the city. This isn't hypothetical. It's happening right now. When the stench of association with someone like Epstein lands, even from years ago, even without accusations of direct involvement, people run. Female celebrities, musicians, athletes, actors, they all distance themselves fast. It's not about waiting for courts or full context. In today's environment, the mere link sparks fear of cancellation, boycotts, or career sabotage. Agencies lose clients overnight. Reputations crack under the weight. Think about it. This is modern-day scarlet letter territory. Back in the day, an adulterer in a small town got branded and shunned. Today, it's amplified by social media, headlines, and instant public judgment. Guilt before innocence? Often, yes. Canceled over proximity? Absolutely real. I've lived around Studio City, worked in television for decades, close enough to Hollywood to see the machinery up close, without being in the celebrity spotlight. The rules are unforgiving. One whiff of controversy attached to your rep, your agent, your colleague, and the instinct is self-preservation. Distance yourself, issue a statement, move on. No one wants to defend the indefensible or risk their own brand. So when you see a powerhouse like Wasserman selling off the empire he built over 24 years, or Trump shrugging off a union he barely needed, or Billy Bush disappearing from the airwaves, remember the pattern. Collateral damage isn't fair. It doesn't always require proof. But in entertainment, politics, and public life, association alone can end careers, fracture alliances, and force hard choices. Who cares? A lot of people do. Enough to make the fallout swift and severe. Stay alert. These stories keep unfolding, and the lessons are stark. Like and share if this hits home. Stay sharp out there. Hello and welcome back, my incredible AP Insight family. Abby Phillip here.